Front drive axles, they go bad, they wear out. This is my own vehicle on the lift behind me. It's my '08 Dodge Grand Caravan. It's got about 220,000 miles on it now. Love the van, absolutely love the van. It's been absolutely fantastic. I can't say anything bad about the van. Love it. The front axles have been going bad for a little while. It's got a weird vibration on the highway. You feel it kind of come and go, like you're cruising along, 75, and you feel it like just come in and go away, come in and go away. And that's usually when it's under a slight load, or if you're under a more severe load, you feel it even greater. But under a light load, like on a steady cruise, you could just lightly feel it. Let go of the gas, goes away. So I know right away, just from the sensation, what it feels like, and the fact that I got a click out of it every once in a while when I'm turning, or if I'm putting it from drive to reverse, I know there's a little bit too much play in one of the inner CV joints. So I replaced these things probably 80,000, 100,000 miles ago. I don't recall when, but it was a while ago. I replaced them both. So I knew this was coming up, so I got 2 new axles for it, and I'm going to replace them now. Here you go. So I got the fan on because it's humid as anything, it's hot as anything, so hopefully you can hear me okay. So here's 2 brand new axles that I got, and the inner joint, usually when the inner joint goes bad, you'll get almost like a wobble sensation to the vehicle. When the outer joint goes bad, you usually get like clicking, knocking, vibration-y type issues. When I say vibration-y, I mean like a quicker type of vibration, more noticeable on turns. When the inner joint goes bad, what happens is the inner joint is supposed to flex in and out, and obviously up and down with travel, but it will actually telescope in and out. And what happens is the joint starts to bind up. And as you're cruising, like especially in a parking lot or something, you may be holding the steering wheel and you may feel it doing this very slightly, or you can actually feel the front of the vehicle doing this just slightly. I'm exaggerating with my body motion, but it's something to consider. And like I said, because I got the clicking noise and stuff like that, and I don't have ripped boots as far as I remember. I'm gonna double check it right now, but last time I checked it didn't. But since I had all of that, I was like, okay, I basically came to the conclusion I'm going to have to put axles in it, and so be it. I don't mind. I maintain a vehicle. It's been a great vehicle. It's starting to show its age now. But if we look, excuse me, if we look, here are the axles, and I want to say one of them had a little bit of, I don't know if you could see that or not. If you look at the inside of the axle, I suppose you might not be able to see that on the video. There is play there. And this one I can actually feel the inner joint clicking when I do that. So, it's no big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change them both right now. They're really not that hard. I might lose some transmission fluid in the process. But I don't recall if it's easier to take the 2. I think it's not, but I'm going to find out. Take the 2 strut mount bolts out, or the strut bolts out where it mounts to the knuckle. Might take those out and tilt it forward to get the axle out, but I think I'm going to try separating the lower ball joint. Basically take that 18 off and then drop the ball joint down. The problem with this is you don't want to use a pickle fork in there. A pickle fork is that fork that you would drive in and it would pop it. You don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I don't want to ruin the boot. The boot's still good. So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try separating that first, and I'll probably whack this with a hammer in order to make it separate. So let me start with that. What I'm going to do is, you got to take the nut off. I got to lubricate that a little bit on both sides, and then I'm going to take the lower ball joint nut off and see if I can't separate that. So let's start with that. And there you see it. I whacked the snot out of that with a ball peen hammer, a good dead blow. So now it's free. So now I can get that down. I'm also going to disconnect the tie rod. This way I have more room to swing this thing. There was actually enough rust on the threads up here to where I couldn't unscrew it. It kept on spinning the stud of the ball joint. So I grabbed out a pair of needle nose pliers. It's not going to hurt anything by doing this. It may put a couple of marks in it, but it's not going to hurt anything. It doesn't affect the integrity of the ball joint itself because the moving part is down inside here, whereas I'm grabbing it up top here. It's not going to affect the threads, nothing. It's basically the area that's actually going to wind up inside of the knuckle. And there you go, I got the nut off. So now this just easily pops out like this. So now I can get this out of the way, and this way I can get the axle out. But let me do the other side first before I start taking this axle out. Whenever I can, I do have service tools for tie rods and stuff like that, but whenever I can get them in there, it doesn't work on everything. Whenever I can get them in there, I will use these tools. It comes as a kit. So this one seems to fit on here pretty good. So I'm going to tighten that down and see if it pops it. Let's get that up there. Would help if I went the right way, right? All right, so there we go. So to go the right way. And if you look, you can see that this thing actually has a lot of corrosion anywhere that stud comes through. So let's see if it'll pop. There we go. Okay, not bad. Whoops. Good way to break your tools. So let me pick that up. Like I said, I have a service kit that I bought, and here it is. And it actually does come in pretty handy, and it does work on quite a few things, but it doesn't work on everything. And it's made by Gear Wrench. This is what the kit looks like. Let's see. Let me turn this off. And let me flip this around. Here it is. Oops, there we go. But here it is. I mean, like I said, it does work pretty good, but you can't use it on everything. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to do anything with that lower ball joint the way it is, except to use a pickle fork. I'm sure that one tool, that one that's in the kit, I don't think I'd be able to get that even in there. I don't think there's enough room. So, but anyway, there's $41,690. It was very reasonably priced too. So let me go ahead and keep going with this. And now I got to take the axle nuts off, and this way the axles can push through. There we go. Now I have fond memories of when I did the axles the last time, which like I said was several years back. One side, I think it was the other side, I could not get the axle to release from the hub. And now this one does move. See that? It moves. I couldn't get the other one to move, and I actually had to use a special puller tool that I have that bolts here and presses on here. And I originally bought it to work on a 53 Belvedere, which a lot of you guys that work on older cars, you remember the rear axles that had the splined axles coming out, and the hubs were actually, or I'm sorry, the drums actually had a hub inside that splined up, that had splines in it and bolted up to the axle itself. And that's what I had the tool for, was to get those drums off. And I had to use that with a lot of force to actually drive the axle in to get the axle out of the hub. So I'm pretty sure it was the other side. So let's see if this side actually moves once I get the nut off. I had no problem getting the nut off, but like I said, the axle just would not come out. And yep, it's moving. So here we go. So that should be no problem at all. And there, all I did was push this out and the thing fell out into that position. I didn't do this side yet. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. There, that's pretty much it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move the spindles and that out of the way so they're not in my way, so I can actually change over the axles. So there we go. Now they're both hanging down. I don't care about this. This is actually separated. This separated the inside joint already, but that's fine. I don't care. So now what I got to do is I got to pry this out. Just stick a pry bar in between here and pop it. It should come right out. There we go. I got my pry bar in there. I'm going to stick it in there, and I'm going to. See that? It released. That's it. Now the whole thing will slide right out. Just like that. So now never destroy what you're pulling out, especially if it's good. Because I'm still not 100% sure that that axle is correct. It's supposed to be, but you never know. So don't destroy what you got until you know 100% for sure. I never throw anything out until I'm done either. So now let me get the other side out. Same procedure. Except this side's usually a little bit tighter, but if you look up, I have a good spot right here to go in between and pop that joint. Now, if you remember what I said in the past, if you go to pop it and it's not popping, try rotating the axle, because the clip here, the clip could be in a different position. If it's hanging out downward, if the opening is at the 6 o'clock position instead of the 12 o'clock position, or basically 3 to 9 and above, it could be hanging up and causing you a problem to get it out. So if you can't get it out easily, try rotating it a quarter turn at a time and keep trying. Usually you can get it to pop. And in between each time of trying to get it out, pop it back in, push it back in. Because if this clip is hanging up on something and you try to pop it, if you have it jammed and you just keep rotating, you're just going to jam it worse. This way, if you push it in, it'll help release it again. Now with that axle out, I am ready to put the new axles in. And there you can see the hole where it has to go, right up inside there. I'm not going to bother changing axle seals because it really doesn't have any leaks or anything. So I feel it's not necessary at this point in time. So if you guys are interested, what I could do is I could take one of these things apart so you can actually see how these things are assembled and what they're actually made of. I could do that after I get this thing all assembled. I can make another video on that. If you guys are interested, go in the comments and let me know. So now when I go to install these axles, remember what I told you. Remember what I just said. Maybe pack a little grease on here. You can use wheel bearing grease, that's fine. I'll probably use my tranny gel because that's what I always use. And make sure that the clip opening is at the 12 o'clock position. That will help center it. If you have it anything from the 3 o'clock to the 9 o'clock position, from that point up, so basically, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Anything in that position, preferably 12, as long as you have the opening there, you should be fine. Anything below that, like from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this thing can overhang, at least one side of it can overhang on the clip. Let's see if we can get a good view of that. It can overhang and the clip can actually poke through and actually jam up on a spline. So that's why you want it at the 12 o'clock position. And like I said, pack it with a little bit of grease too. That'll help keep it stable while you're doing this at the installation. Now the installation is fairly straightforward. Just basically make sure you line it up, pop it in. It should go right in. It may take a couple of whacks with it, like basically you're going to grab it like a javelin, just thunk, 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 and usually it'll pop right in. But just make sure the joint is straight going into the transmission. Because if you had an angle, it's not going to want to go. And there you have it, nicely packed up with transmission assembly gel. So now I'm going to install it. And she popped right in. I mean, absolutely zero effort to do that. And that's fully seated, and you can feel the clip go in and seat. What you want to try to do is put the axle in straight, like get a straight shot on it, which means you may have to move the spindle. If you have to move the spindle too much, undo the brake line so you don't tension the brake line too much. And be mindful of your ABS lines and anything else that might be there. The other thing too is, now I'm going to let this thing hang. You don't want to let it hang when you're installing it, because you'll mess up trying to get it in place. It usually won't go in easy. What I'm going to do is, because remember I had to put the vice grips on here, I'm going to take a wire brush. I actually have wire wheel on a little handheld tool, and I'm just going to clean up the threads. This way it'll assemble a little bit easier for me and I don't have to fight with it. Second axle all nicely packed up with grease and ready to install. And I have the opening at what I know is, as what I refer to, or what I know as the 12 o'clock position. So now I'm going to install that. Oh, and I did clean up the studs on that, on both sides. I cleaned it up as best I could with that little wire wheel on my tool. So it should go together much easier. Now this side fought me a little bit. So what I did was I took the old nut and I stuck it on there just to protect the end here. And I had it sticking out, as you can see. It's not threaded all the way down. And I just gave it a quick little wrap with my hammer and it popped in. So you don't want to sit there and have to beat these things in. If you're doing that, something's wrong. If you can't get it in with one good crisp hit with the hammer, preferably a dead blow, if it won't go in, obviously something's wrong. Take it out and start over. One thing I also do is I spray the inside of the splines there. I spray it with WD-40. I spray these splines also with WD-40. This way when I go together, everything's lubricated. The reason being is I don't want rust to occur in case I got to take this thing apart in the future. Because like I said, that one time I went through hell and back trying to get the one side apart because it was so seized together, the splines on one another. It was almost at a point where I thought I was going to have to replace the hub, but I got it apart. And as a matter of fact, it's still the same hub on here today. And like I said, I sprayed it out. And as you can see, it's got some rust in there, but it's just surface rust. I had cleaned it out with a wire brush and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with it. So it's lasted, 80, 90, 100,000 miles, whatever it's been, and it's still fine. So like I said, I just lubricate everything up, and now everything's going to go back together. So now once you get it to this point, you want to get you want to get the joint actually level and straight with the hub itself, with the bearing. So what I'm going to have to do is just get this thing square, and by square I meant, you know, straight in line, you know, forward. And then I'm going to try to get this straight, and once you get this straight, there, see, it popped right in place. And I didn't worry about the fact that the bellow, I had popped it in, because it usually will straighten itself right out. And there it is, no big deal. Reverse procedure to install, that's pretty much it. So now I'm just going to tighten that up, put the tie rod on both sides, and then we're going to get to torquing the axle nut, and I'll show you that. Okay, so this side's all tight. And one thing that popped into my head to talk about here, what happens if you go to tighten this up and then all of a sudden the stud starts spinning, like as you're all the way down? So now you can't put vice grips or something underneath here, there's no room. What do you do? How do you get that tight? Well, what you can do is you put a floor jack or something underneath here. If you're on a lift, you use a pole jack, or you let the vehicle down onto something to put pressure here, because then the coil spring or whatever's above it is going to hold pressure on that, and it should be enough friction force to allow you to tighten the nut up. Now, if you're doing it on a lift and you're putting a transmission jack or a pole jack or something here, go to the opposite corner of your vehicle and put another pole jack, because you don't want to put pressure on it here and wind up unloading it from the lift. You unload it from the lift, you're going to knock the vehicle off, and then you're not going to have a good day at all. All right, so you got to tighten up an axle nut. Put your torque wrench on it. Start to tighten it up. Wait, what do I do now? How do I stop that? Very simple. Pink. Put it in a rotor. Let it go till it hits the caliper bridge. And tighten. There we go. 118 foot-pounds, that's what it calls for on this vehicle. So now that that's all done, let me put the wheels on it, and then we're going to go for a road test. So how did we make out? I think we did pretty darn good. The van is smooth, super smooth. It actually hasn't driven this good in quite a while. Those 2 new axles and 4 new tires. Very, very happy with the way this thing rides. Especially if you consider the mileage. I love this van, I really do. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. I also have a Toyota Sienna. I much prefer this van over the Toyota Sienna, I really do. This is just a much nicer vehicle in my opinion. But anyway, so yeah, just cruising down the road, heading home now. I just drove it about 20 miles. And here we are, just heading down my little back roads, getting to my home. I'm almost home. And yeah, I mean, right now I'm doing 60. It's smooth as silk. The axles don't vibrate. The tires don't make any noise. You know, all things considered, it's pretty good considering the mileage on this thing, 220,000. Actually, I'm sorry, 213,000, but close enough. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I hope you got something out of that video. Hope you liked that. If you have any suggestions for other videos, just send them to me. I've gotten a few from a few people, and I do appreciate that, and I will be working on making those videos. Test lights and multimeters and stuff like that. That will be coming in the future. But that's about it for right now. So if you could, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe as well. It's been a long day. I'm tired. It's a holiday and I worked. What else is new? Anyway, so that's it. You guys have a great day. Keep wrenching.